Hello there, you lovely people. I hope you're safe and I hope that you're well. The cost of living crisis is a massive thing right now. But what I'd like to do in this video is I would like to just explore ways that the top tips of you learning to understand what you can do around the house. And also kind of just having that better understanding of what's going on in the world right now. So let's get on with it. So what is the cost of living crisis? Well, it's where there's an increase in everyday household bills. And what you'll also notice is possibly you'll have noticed that the cost of food has also gone up. So we're kind of feeling this anxiety maybe within the home. It might be even the news that we're watching. Obviously, we're coming out of a pandemic that had a big impact in the financial market. We have also got the war in Ukraine. Some people would argue it's exiting EU. Some people would say it's a good thing that we've done that. So that's kind of what's going on in simple terms. But unfortunately, the level of trust with the government has never been so low. So this fear for certain adults, maybe even for you young people, is this sense of helplessness that we can't do anything. However, I've got some steps that you can do around the house, or at least suggest to the adults in your life in order to help them. So with the cost of living crisis, I just want to remind you of how powerful that word is, crisis. And sometimes when we're watching the news or hearing the news, and some people can have it on their smartwatches, news can come in so many different ways now, including on social media. So we're almost consumed by it all the time. However, what I do want you to bear in mind is the power of the media. And when you listen to the news, if you listen to the news, just remind yourself of and notice the way that they say certain things, certain headlines, or maybe their tone of voice. Just learn to understand how certainly journalists and news reporters can add drama just in the headlines or just in maybe kind of what they're talking about. So I would always get you to just ask yourself, when you're watching the news, is it a reliable source? And are you watching too much? You can't change the world. You can't change what's going on right now. Therefore, maybe you're watching too much news and maybe it's not necessarily needed to be watched at all. So as a young person, what you could do is you could completely impress the parents and carers or the families in your life, because you could come up with some suggestions. Some could be about the importance of meal planning. So actually planning what you're going to have to eat during the week, because then what you're doing is you're eating the food that you already have in the fridge, in the freezer, rather than wasting it. Another one of my favourites is to pull furniture away from any radiators. Just allow there to be a gap so then the heat is actually leaving the radiator rather than being trapped. Also, you could consider putting foil behind your radiator as it goes up, because then instead of the bricks absorbing the heat, what it will do is it will reflect it and use it to kind of circulate up. Some people can buy specific radiator foil, but actually just normal tin foil in the cupboard could help. Here's some simple ones that you already know about, I'm certain. But when you're charging a device, once you've done it, don't just turn it off by the plug, but actually unplug it. When you've got maybe a gaming device or your TV, don't just put it on standby. You know that red light that you'll see? That means that it's using energy, so therefore just switch it off. It's not needed. Also, if you're needing to just quickly go into a room, to grab your shoes, instead of turning the light on and off, maybe just, because you've got your mobile in your hand, maybe just kind of turn on your torch, because that will be really simple and easy to use rather than having to turn the light on or off. If you're somebody that's got maybe spotlights in the room, which has got about 4 bulbs, then maybe just ask yourself, do you need all 4 bulbs? Maybe you could go down to 2 bulbs. It's these little things that you can do that will really make a big, big difference. It's also about reminding yourself it's about heating the human, not the house, okay? So with that, layer up, okay? Layer up. And if that's 2 pairs of socks or some slippers as well, there is so much heat wasted through the bottoms of our feet. Therefore, it's kind of just using your initiative and really allowing your body to kind of contain that heat and soak up that heat. So there you have it. That's just some ideas for you to make sure that you're doing your bit around your home in order to help kind of just keep the bills lower than they need to be. It is felt by so many people with this cost of living crisis. You're not the only person, but just bear in mind that there's this sense of helplessness. It's not just you, it's your families that may be feeling it too. Parents, carers, grandparents, aunties and uncles. Therefore, you might hear it a lot in conversations. So it's just about kind of reminding yourself that it's doing what you can do. And that is better than nothing, and that makes me proud. Anyway, you take care, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Stay awesome, everybody. Bye.